the dark legend of El Santo Cristo de Bronce. Bolivia is a land of breathtaking beauty, rich traditions, and dark legends. But few tales are as chilling as the story of Dona Magdalena Téllez and the terrifying fate of her husband, Pedro Arechua. This is the legend of El Santo Cristo de Bronce. Our story takes us back to 1663, to the imperial city of Potosí, a place of immense wealth, power, and bitter rivalries. Among its most notable residents was Dona Magdalena Téllez, a woman of noble lineage, beauty, and fortune. A widow sought after by many men, but feared by many more. But there was one woman who Dona Magdalena hated above all, Dona Ana Rolls, the wife of Don Juan Sanz Iberia. No one knows exactly why their hatred ran so deep, but what we do know is that it led to one of the most shocking revenge plots in history. During a religious ceremony at the temple of La Compañía de Jesus, Dona Magdalena deliberately took the seat reserved for Dona Ana. The insult led to a scandalous fight, right in the house of God. The confrontation turned violent when Dona Ana's husband, Don Juan, slapped Dona Magdalena in front of the entire congregation. Humiliated, seething with rage, Dona Magdalena vowed revenge. And she was a woman who never forgot a grudge. She knew that alone she was powerless. So she devised a sinister plan. She would marry the man who would carry out her revenge. But her conditions were clear. Her husband had to be willing to kill Don Juan Sanz Iberia. Many men refused, but one accepted. A man not moved by love, but by ambition. Pedro Arechua, a bastard accountant looking for fortune. He agreed to her terms, but once married, he did nothing. Days passed, then weeks, then months. No revenge, no action. Dona Magdalena had been deceived. But if Pedro thought he could outsmart his wife, he was gravely mistaken. One night, at their estate in Mondragon, Dona Magdalena's patience ran out. With the help of her servants, she bound her husband to a wooden cross, trapping him in a grotesque imitation of Christ himself. What followed was a slow, methodical torture. Every day, Dona Magdalena allowed Pedro just enough food to survive, and every night, she would pierce his body with a bronze needle, one by one, over and over, until his entire body was covered in punctures. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Until one day, Pedro Arechua breathed his last breath. But even in death, Dona Magdalena continued. She still drove a needle into his lifeless body each night, as if possessed by a demon of vengeance. When there was no room left, his body had turned completely bronze, as if transformed into a terrifying statue, El Santo Cristo de Bronce. But justice does not sleep forever. Rumors spread of the horrors inside Mondragon. The authorities arrived at Dona Magdalena's estate, welcomed by a feast laced with poison. A brave servant girl revealed the truth just in time. The judges and guards seized Dona Magdalena, dragging her back to Potosí, where her fate was sealed. Even the richest and most powerful tried to save her, offering 200,000 pesos for her freedom. Even the archbishop himself begged for her life, but there was no mercy left for her. In Potosí's Central Plaza, before a silent crowd, Dona Magdalena was hanged. Her death was meant to end the story, but to this day, her haunted estate in Mondragon still stands, and the room where Pedro Arechua perished, no one who sleeps there makes it through the night. Legends like these are hidden all across Bolivia, dark stories buried beneath history. What do you think? Was this a woman's vengeance gone too far, or a punishment well-deserved? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Bolivian mysteries. See you in the next video.